Yo. What's good, everybody? Look, check it out. We have a special little announcement, not an announcement, a special little episode of podcast right now. It's going down. Righteous Reg, my government name's right here, just displayed. I don't like how that's happening right now. I'm mad about it. I want somebody to change it. We out here with Phil Lindsey, my homeboy. Grapsody boys are in the building. What's good with you, Phil?
I am great. Crazy day, but
Oh
we're
my
in the
God.
building.
Yeah. But today we are here for a very special case. We got some homies today. A company that I've talked about a lot over the past year or two. They put on some fantastic wrestling shows. They showcased a bunch of my homies, like legit every show. There's like 8 or 9 of my homies on the show. Some homies from Ohio Wrestling Alliance are here in the building today. This weekend, they have an insane, crazy, off the charts wrestling card. Good Trouble number 3. It's going down. We got Will, and we got a very super special guest, the tall giant of a man. He's smooth. Pretty boy smooth is in the building. What's good, y'all?
What's going on? What's going
Yo, what's
on?
going on? Excited to
Appreciate
be here.
y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. So, Ohio Wrestling Alliance, when we talk about black wrestling companies, when we talk about people showcasing us very importantly all the time, Ohio Wrestling Alliance is very high up there because most of the cards are filled with people that we like to see. So take us through a little bit of the history of Ohio Wrestling Alliance, because it feels like you guys kind of came out of nowhere, but no wrestling company ever comes out of nowhere. Will let us know about it.
Sure, yeah. So, we kind of started in 2019,
Mhm.
and then right after the second show was like January of 2020.
Right.
Obviously, like the worst time to get started.
Jeez
So,
Louise.
so then everything kind of shut down shortly after that. And then we didn't run again until we came up with the idea for Good Trouble, and that was not till January of 2021. So
Oh,
basically, almost the entire year of 2020 was just a wash. We didn't really have anything going on, and it was best to just take a back seat, especially the way things were here in Ohio, shut down and things like that. So then we come back in January of 2021 with Good Trouble Volume 1. PB Smooth was there for that as well. He wrestled the now independent wrestling champion AC Mack. So
fire.
that was a huge event for us. And Good Trouble Volume 1 was kind of the start of something that, the owner of the company, he did something that he really believes in, was putting these opportunities out there that aren't always afforded to people, in other companies,
Right.
and we kind of know how that goes. So the idea was, hey, let's put this show together that's going to showcase some of the best black independent wrestlers on the scene right now. And we came out with Good Trouble Volume 1, and we had John Gresham and Myron Reed in the in
Hmm.
the in the main event.
Was
And I
fire.
think the other thing that we really wanted to do at the time, and this is something we still strive to do even on the regular cards, was let's try to put together as many matchups that people have never seen before.
Right.
And even when speaking about PB Smooth's match with AC Mack, like AC Mack right now is that guy. He's on top
Yep.
of the game, and he wasn't not as known, I would say, back then, but he was still kind of one of the top up and coming guys, and we felt it was important to put PB in kind of that opportunity where what other company is going to give you the opportunity to wrestle AC Mack? Like we want to
Right.
put you on that stage. We want to put AC Mack in the ring with you as well because you kind of dominate your scene in your area. He's doing his thing in yours, so let's bring them together. Same with Gresham and Myron Reed. Like people hadn't really seen that before. So always trying to keep those fresh matchups. Like you said, leading into this is going into Good Trouble Volume 3, but they're not. It's not an annual thing. This is the
Right.
third one. This is the third one in almost 365 days. So it is a little bit more than just our annual show.
Right.
This is kind of a more frequent thing. And then even the cards that aren't Good Trouble or kind of feature a lot more diversity, than
Definitely.
some other places.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, PB, you play a pretty big role as we are describing here in Ohio Wrestling Alliance. Recently we've talked privately about, a lot of things in this wrestling business, and you've been constantly every month improving, upping your game, working on your craft, working on promos, working on your gear, working on your body, working on everything to make PB the number one, Pretty Boy Smooth, the number one athlete he can be. What was the motivation behind you kind of being like, it's time to go out there and let these people know?
Well, the truth is companies like OWA,
Right.
companies like Rise, like they wanted to throw me the ball, and I felt like there's a
Hmm.
lot of times and places where I may get overlooked for certain things or whatnot, or they expect me to fit like the stereotype of like the angry black dude. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like
Yep.
being in environments where I'm allowed to be myself and explore who I am in the ring and outside the ring and like as a persona and things like that, it really means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like OWA did that for me. Like I felt they're like they were trying to throw me the ball. It wasn't just like, oh, let me find what other big guy he can wrestle. Like
Hmm.
like wrestling is like styles clashes is to me is what makes good matches and good storylines and things like that.
Definitely.
That's a place where I know I'm going to get that. So then being able to be myself here and there, it allows me to go to other places and do the exact same thing. So like OWA is like a second home to me, honestly.
That's dope. We talked a little bit about the match you had with AC Mac. The match you have this weekend, the guy I would kind of compare to AC Mac on the mic. These two are just like they're the sharpest tongue. They go crazy anytime there's time for a promo. Frontman Jah-C is one of the best wrestlers, best characters, best people on the scene right now, and he's just constantly climbing and constantly on his way. What is your strategy for this guy, man? PB, he bring like when he's gonna have a match or anything with anybody, he do promo videos, he throws everything there is at their opponent to get into like some mind games before they even get to the match. So like what's your strategy for this guy?
Well, that's the thing. Like the real question is, what's his strategy for me?
Oh, I
Because
see.
we know
Hey,
he's going to get from here. But like everyone forgets that I packed that too. Like I could cut promos, I could do this, that, and the third, and I'm still 6'9", I'm still 260. I still got these hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to toss people around. So, like to me, like he needs to prepare for the unknown. He ain't been in the ring with someone like me. You feel me? So like y'all can compare him to AC Mac, but who you gonna compare me to?
It's a
You know what I mean? Like
fact.
it's a whole different ball game, and like that's why I wanted that matchup because I know he's like one of the top guys. I know when people look at him, they know it's the full package from the look to the in ring work to the promos and whatnot. And if I can show that I can stand toe to toe and beat somebody like that, they got to put me in the conversation at some point.
Big facts. Now, the main event of this show, the OWA World Champion, Trey Lamar, a very insanely talented person, somebody you know a lot about PB Smooth, one of your tag team partners, one of your homies. Do you have aspirations of maybe going toe to toe, maybe getting that belt? That
I'll put it
laugh.
this way. I'm gonna focus on what I gotta focus on,
Got
and
you.
more power to him. I hope him and JDX have a banger, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, we'll talk to us a little bit about that main event with Trey Lamar and JDX. JDX, another incredible talent, a guy that's on the rise. Every single match that he has, he just ups his stock.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Trey to kind of reestablish himself, so to speak, and some things that he's had going on wrestling wise. Kind of getting back in the ring and kind of getting familiar with people. This was a match we tried to put together. Man, I can't remember when it was. We originally had it on the books, and then some things happened, and JDX had to pull out. We ended up
Right.
swapping it, and then we actually put together. I think it was the triple threat with Trey, Daniel Garcia, and Lee Moriarty was kind of what ended up coming out of that cancellation.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're trying to we're trying to establish a championship that kind of means something. If you've seen the title has a lot of homage to Ohio and things
Mhm.
about Ohio. Trey's from the Hall of Fame city in Canton. So, we kind of want to put some of the best wrestlers in the ring with Trey to kind of establish that championship and that championship run to say, hey, we think this is the best wrestler in Ohio. And if you feel differently, then come in here and find out. And then if, you don't have to necessarily be from Ohio, but if you capture that championship, we now look at you as Ohio's best wrestler. And then who's going to come and take it from you? Obviously a guy like PB who's done a lot of work with us in the past is obviously a guy that we feel is right there as well. So,
Hmm.
you know, establishing those consistent competitors, those people that keep coming back to the Ohio Wrestling Alliance, and then kind of establishing that pecking order and sending people towards the champ and let the champ prove that they're the best. And if they prove that they're not, then we find out who is.
Right. Now, Phil, there's a lot of talented wrestlers on this card. What matches that are coming up here are you looking the most forward to?
I mean, I'm looking forward to that main event. JDX is a hometown guy. He's from Chicago,
That's right.
by way of, Minneapolis, and now he's in
Mhm.
Atlanta. But man, I say all the time, he's extremely underrated. I think he does a great job of promoting his matches online. I think the video packages he's done so far for this match are really cool. And man, can't say enough good things about Trey Lamar.
Yeah, Trey Lamar is a tremendous talent, man. I think this year with companies like OWA and doing exactly what Will was describing, kind of letting him take the lead, and take on all the big up and coming superstars here is super great. Some other super interesting, dope matches on this card. There's a tag team match with the main event. They're going to be facing off against the infantry, the captain, our homie Sean Dean, and Carly Bravo. That's a great match. What inspired you to put together that match?
Man, that was a tough one to get together, man. Honestly, the thing about it was we kind of felt like this was like an AEW type match, an AEW dark type match, something you could
Right.
see on Monday or Tuesday. And we thought, these are the kind of guys that someone hasn't put this together yet, so why not us? If they're all four willing to come, they're all four willing to be in this OWA ring, then why not us? Why does AEW have to put it together? If we got the means and they'll all four come, then we'll put it together, and then obviously we thought it was also important to get uh Carly and Sean Dean in front of some of our talent as well, to
Mhm.
be in the building with some of, guys like PB,
Right.
other people like Trey that have worked dark and stuff like that before, just to kind of, reestablish those relationships in that locker room camaraderie and stuff like that, and kind of just get in front of those guys and, hey, pick their brain about certain things if they have
Mhm.
questions, or even just reacquaint if they've obviously met before. So it was important to get them together. But then it was also important to us because we've used main event um, in two other high profile matches. We had them against
Mhm.
the Tate twins from ROH
Yep.
in the first Good Trouble, and then we used them against the Soldiers of Savagery in Good Trouble Volume 2. So it, we wanted to continue to establish them. I think they're one of the best independent tag teams on the planet. Super athletic dudes. And we started looking through that tag team list. Where's some other routes that we can go with these guys for tag team matches? And the infantry just made sense. It was right there.
Right. Now, before we get into the rest of the card, I kind of have a question because pro wrestling, as we always say, is very insane. I was going to say every week, legit every night, there's an insane wrestling card in America, Japan, Australia, somewhere going on. If you click on your phone, there's going to be a dope match. How do you prepare a card when there's so many dream matches going on? There's so many matches getting announced. There's so many things that sometimes there's a match you probably want to do and it's already in the motion somewhere, or like all this crazy things. How do you keep up with the constant grind of, it used to be there was just one WrestleMania weekend. Now every weekend is WrestleMania weekend because
Sure.
there's nothing but dream matches.
And I think we kind of fell into that trap as well, where everybody's just trying to put together the next super card,
Exactly.
and a lot of times when that happens, you kind of start to like it starts to lose its significance, right?
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
you don't even get the opportunity to watch what just happened before you're already looking at what's happening next weekend. So
Hmm.
it's
Yep.
like, okay, like, yeah, this card sounds great, but did you see what so and so has planned next weekend? And then by
Right.
the time you finish watching this, it's one and done. So I think the important thing for us was to kind of establish consistent characters, but then put them in some high profile matchups while sprinkling in a little bit of good stuff as well. So, some of the name guys are the icing, but once you kind of cut into the cake, you'll see the consistent guys that we use, that we want to kind of see break out in the future. Guys like PB, Trey. We use a guy, Damian Chambers, frequently, who we think's really good. We've used, we've used AC Mack a couple times, Ashton Starr, some of those people, even though they're a little more known in the South, but trying to bring them up. We got a guy, Riley Rose, who we like to use a lot. Jeffrey John, you like to use him
Hmm.
as well. So, try to establish some of your own guys, but put them in the ring with some of the independent heavy hitters and just kind of try to mix that together instead of just focusing on who's hot right now and how can we fit them into this card. And the other thing that we really focus on is trying to get a lot of first time matchups.
Hmm.
So when we're looking over, you know, people that we want to bring in, we kind of run through their history. When's the last time so and so touched? We had a match that a lot of people didn't see between Anthony Green and Kevin Koo. They never touched before. That was the
Hmm.
first time, and it was at an event that we kind of put together in a weird fashion. It wasn't your traditional event, but those were the kind of things that we were looking for. We ran Steve Manders and Karam. They had never touched before, so trying to find those kind of things is equally as important. Sometimes we see those super cards, but it's like the ninth or tenth time we've seen that guy wrestle each
Definitely.
other, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, I just saw that like 2 weeks ago or whatever. But
Hmm.
just that's basically the simple ingredients.
Right. It's good. I think the biggest thing with those supers cards is they kind of takes focus off the local the local people is what I've started to notice. So when you bring in 10 outsiders, then that's 10 spots of locals that are just
Yep.
eliminated immediately. So kudos to y'all for doing that. One of my homies is on this card. ACH is taking on who we talked about, AC Mack, in what is going to be a tremendous match. These two, ACH, I just saw one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. ACH live against Speedball Mike Bailey blew my mind. This guy is insane. He's been on another level since he returned from his little hiatus. He is back 100% going for it. And just like we talked about with AC Mack a little bit earlier, this guy's a Black Wrestlers Matter champion. No, that's Frontman Jah-C. The independent wrestling champion is AC Mack. He just had a bunch of incredible matches, one with Alex Shelley to win the title. He is on a run like no one could have even imagined. So, this match right here is one of the highest profile matches of the show. Very important. What is everybody thinking of this match?
Man, I've been saying since ACH came back, like right before, during the pandemic, I feel like he was one of the MVPs during the pandemic. He was having some
Definitely.
fantastic matches, and he went on that brief hiatus, like you said, but he's back again, still killing it.
So
And
back.
so I'm really looking forward to this match. Man, big ups to AC Max. I think that was a huge win for him when the IWTV Independent Wrestling Championship. First openly gay champion. I
Yep.
think this is a good opportunity to put more of a spotlight on him because I feel like he's been great for a while.
Hmm.
So really looking forward to the match.
How you feeling about it, Will?
Yeah, this one's super important to us to
Right.
put together. We wanted to bring AC back. He's huge. We're both huge fans of his. My partner, my business partner, and I, and we wanted to bring him back, and now that he's coming back as champion, unfortunately, it won't be for the title because
Right.
he's made that stipulation that he'll only defend it in the South, and that's fine. But this was who could we get in front of him to kind of make this thing really pop, and ACH was there. He's performing the night before at the Black Wrestlers Matter event, so
Mhm.
it was kind of an easy get for us to come in. They've never wrestled as far as we could find, so that
Mhm.
was also important. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, man. I think there's going to be some implications after this is over, and where we go with AC in the future as well. So that should be pretty important. But I'm kind of curious what my man PB Smooth thinks of this match, because he holds a victory over AC Mac.
And a match with ACH would be awesome too.
Yeah, definitely would. I apologize if I hear my dog barking. Stu's going on. But yeah, yeah. AC Mac is a tough competitor, and I did put him down at one point. So I do think that has something to say for it. But at the end of the day, the matchup is him and ACH, and
Mhm.
I'm excited to see how that goes. Be studying.
Right. Another one of your homies has a match too. Jocelyn Navarro is going to be here taking on Brooke Valentine in a match that's going to be great. Two tremendous talents. They're hard hitting. They are on the rise. They are both making, every time they have a match, they're making more noise. They're trying to separate themselves from the pack of a bunch of tremendously talented ladies. How important is it to have a women's match on the show, as always? And how important is it to have these two women on the show? So I know Jocelyn has done a lot for OWA so far. She's been a pretty prominent figure there.
Yeah, we really like Joss's work. She's gotten some really good opportunities as a she's kind of becoming the Miss Ohio of Ohio
Right.
wrestling.
Mhm.
That kind of feels between the opportunities that she's gotten with us, but mostly the opportunities she's gotten up at AIW in Cleveland
Right.
has kind of put her on the map as the Miss Ohio of wrestling. And she's come a long way. She's been with PB for a while in the stable and doing some manager stuff, but she's starting to break out into her own. She's had
Yep.
high profile matches. I mean, she just wrestled Lufisto, last weekend. So when you talk about some of the people that she's faced, man, they don't get any bigger. And this match with Brooke kind of came together. Unfortunately, this was one that we couldn't get out in front of. They are wrestling the very night before at
Mm.
Black Wrestlers Matter 2. So they'll kind of get familiar with each other, and hopefully we get an opportunity to see an even better match, once they're a little more familiar with each other the next night. So really looking forward to that. I'll be honest with you, booking from a booking standpoint, women's wrestling is sometimes can be difficult, or a little
Mhm.
more difficult than putting together a men's card, which is
Mhm.
obviously extremely easy.
Right.
Any of us could do that any day of the week. Um, but logistically and things like that, sometimes it is a little more difficult. And I'm really glad this one came together. Brooke Valentine was somebody that I wanted to bring to Ohio for several months now, and it just hasn't worked out where we could kind of either line up dates or the right card or the right opponent, and sometimes it's just that way. I could tell you a funny story about Frontman Jah, who before I started working with OWA, he had like unread DMs in the request folder from like 2000, I think 2019, 2020, that
Acting
were
like
just
T-Pain.
and I said to my guys, like, did you know Frontman Jah DM'd you back in like early 2020? He's like, oh no, I don't think I saw it. I was like, yeah, it was in the request folder, and it was just like a simple, thing. And then I'm like, man, this is, so sometimes it's all about timing, and I'm
Mhm.
really glad that we were able to bring her in and and get this thing together for sure.
So man, y'all playing my man Ja to the left till he won that Black Wrestlers Matter Championship. Then all of a sudden you can book him.
Yeah, man. I'll have to catch up with him on Sunday and tell him that story, because it was definitely sitting in there, and I was on my partner. I was on him pretty hard, man. I was like, you didn't see this out there? He's like, oh no, I just didn't see it, man. I was like, that's tough,
Man.
man. I've been a big fan of Frontman for a while, so when I saw that in there, I was like, whew.
Damn.
Rectify the
Right.
situation.
Yeah,
Damn.
for
Yeah, it's
sure.
back.
We
He's
got it
here.
together now.
This match is about to be crazy. So there's a hard-hitting big guy match here with Mysterious Q taking on Isaiah Broner. Isaiah Broner hits so hard he makes every time I see his videos, I'm like, bro, that's dangerous in there. Like, careful. Now he's a big, big brooding dude. These two guys are incredible. Mysterious Q's out of Texas, one of my favorite Texas talents. These guys are two on the way big guys, not the regular, typical characters. They are angry, they're big, and they have something to say. This is a match that I'm really looking forward to. Q has been breaking out of the Texas area. Last year, he had a bunch of great matches throughout the country and GCW and in Texas, New Texas Pro, a bunch of different great places. So it's great to see him here. How was it to get Q over here to Ohio wrestling?
Yeah, it was huge, man. That was one that we really wanted. We wanted some of that Texas representation because I
Yeah,
think between him and Brian Keith, they've
yep,
really had tremendous 2021s.
incredible.
And Brian had already come up to Ohio last month for another promotion that PB and I both worked for here in Columbus area as well. So it was kind of a no-brainer to just pivot off of that and go with Q, who was already equally as talented in my book. So that was an easy get. And then putting him with Broner was more of a I would say more of a test for Broner than it is Q, because I
Hmm.
think Broner's still kind of on the come up. He's still
Yep.
kind of on the rise, and I
Hmm.
think he needs a little bit more of those challenges or some of those more
The big
premier
names.
matchups
Hmm.
so that we can find out what he's made of. There's people who are on the way up, but if they continue to keep you know, beating around with the same guys that they're beating around with, you're never really going to find out if they are the one. And you got to give them those matchups that are going to prove and find out what they have. And I think this is the opportunity for that. We're going to find out is Broner really on the come up, or is Q more established and better than we knew he was. That kind of thing. But this is a guy in Q who PB I know you're familiar with as well. You guys shared some interesting moments in Tampa at WrestleMania last year.
Oh,
So
that was fire. I loved
yeah.
it. I
And
was there.
and you're familiar with Broner as well, who's somebody who I think you're interested in working either with or against in the future. So kind of give us a little bit of what you think here as well.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I've been in the ring with both of them, obviously in different situations.
Hmm.
I just wrestled Broner this past weekend with it was me, him, Matt Justice, and Kaplan.
Oh,
And yeah, he can go. He's good. He hits really hard. He's physical. He likes the contact. I mean, I really believe he is on the come up. So like I'm gonna enjoy watching him and Q. Like I think that's gonna be a banger.
yeah. I saw you do that. You did a new kind of character recently in
Yeah.
a different promotion. Is that gonna carry over, or is that just for that promotion there?
So the ether is essentially like my Super Saiyan version where I mentally go into a different kind of war mode because I
Hmm.
feel there's a lot of times where people will look at me and they listen to like the smooth R&B music and they see the girls putting chapstick on me and shit and they forget that when that bell rings I'm a beast
Right.
and that I'm legit. So that's just me in my mode where like I'm not thinking about nothing else but
Got
beating the
you.
shit out of somebody and winning this match. You know what I mean? It's I don't like to compare it to like the demon Finn Balor because it's not like a demon, but it's more of a different place that I go to in my mind that prepares me for what I'm about to go into. So if I feel the need for it to put the exclamation point on somebody or like a certain type of title match or something like that, it will come out, but it's not something that is always going to be there on like a consistent basis.
That's
That's
why you
dope.
put the Jeezy the Snowman shirt on today to let people know you're not just on the R&B flow. You're across the board. You're watching BMF. We're out here.
I'm a jack of all trades. I got a whole you feel me?
I'm
Hey,
saying on deck, on
I got a lot of
deck. That's hard. The rest of this card, there's some great up and comers. One of my favorite guys out right now, Don't Die Miles, who has just been having some great matches. He's been shooting star pressing all over the place, been telling people to drink their water. Great, tremendous talent. Taking on a guy that was a part of a company, a show that is now RIP in 205 Live. Anthony Bennett is going to be here. These two guys are great. How did you put this one together?
Yeah, so we had used Bennett before. We used him at Good Trouble Volume 1. He wrestled Ryan Rembrandt that was
Ryan
kind of down in
Rembrandt, remarkable.
AEW for a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And we had kind of seen him come up in the Cruiserweight Classic, and this match honestly came together. This was organically made via social media. Like, this really wasn't on our
My
radar,
favorite.
to be honest with you. You know, there was conversations between the two of them. I know Miles, we've used him a couple times before, and he's kind of wanting to crack more into that cruiserweight type of wrestling.
Right.
And he kind of just threw down the gauntlet and was like, "Yo, I really want to wrestle Anthony Bennett." And we were like, "Yo, that kind of sounds interesting." But then Miles actually contacted us and said, "Hey, if you could put together this Bennett match, I'll do it for free." And we were like, "Well, we don't let anybody wrestle for free, but let us reach
We
out
like the
and
dedication.
let us reach out and see what we can do." And we reached out to Bennett, and he was available, and it just it really came together via social media. And it's like, well, if they're both willing to do it, we'll sneak an extra match on this card because they're, this is something we didn't even have to put together. It came to us. So that's the that's the easiest thing to put together. Somebody's able to hop in a car with somebody else that's already coming, and, hey, these guys want to go at each other. We'll make it happen. They've never wrestled before. We've used both of them before, so it's not like we don't know their body of work or somebody. We the inbox to the Twitter account gets a lot of requests from people who obviously
Is that
want to
how
come
I
and
like
work.
to? I like to give people opportunities. Is that how the best way to contact you?
Yeah,
To try to get a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like between myself and the other guy involved, who's it's obviously his company, but I help in most of the decisions. But we're pretty familiar. There's not too many people that hit the inbox. It's like, you ever heard of this guy? Like, no, I don't know. It's like we pretty much kind of know who people are, who we're looking for, but obviously, you can't watch everything. So there are going to be people that can kind of hit the inbox and say, "Hey, can you check out X, Y, and Z links?" And if that's worked like a lot of times, especially with a match that we'll talk about later when we talk about the jump off series. That's kind of where that falls into, is just people that we haven't given a lot of opportunities for, or we haven't seen a lot of work of. We'll put them in that series, kind of see what they got, and if it's really good, then we'll bring them back. And if it's not, they can maybe they don't come back. But those are opportunities where we like to put people like that to kind of see what they're worth. But going into it, you kind of know what you want, what you're looking for. But yeah, I like seeing people get first time opportunities for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, this match came together, and Miles is also a guy that PB wrestled in the OWA championship tournament as well. So that happened back in, I think that was like February of 2021. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't remember the date, but I do remember being in the ring with him. Little scrappy dude.
Yeah. The size difference between the two at the time was just, I mean, you don't want to say it was comical, but just seeing them, square off against each other, it's just it kind of organically came together in that tournament. Because honestly, I'll talk about this, but there was a lot of people or a lot of companies that were running like no fan shows or no one in attendance, where they were letting sponsorships and people sponsor wrestlers and things like that. But it was like oh yeah, you can sponsor, but we have this list of people that we're going to use. Like, do you want to sponsor them?
Hmm.
And we did the way we did it was 100% organic, where we said if you want to sponsor a wrestler and you'll pay the $55 for their sponsorship, you can sponsor any wrestler you want. Like whoever it is, just tell us the name, we'll contact them, and if they're available, then they can come to the tournament. Like we're, obviously it can't be like, oh yeah, my brother-in-law Joey,
Yeah.
he wrestles every once in a while down at the bowling alley or whatever, you know
Right.
what I mean? But it was like, hey, no shit, give us the flat amount, we just made
Hmm.
it one flat amount, said $55. Any wrestler you want, we'll call them. If they're available, they'll come. If not, you can have a second and third choice, and we'll just go right down the list. And that tournament for that championship belt seriously came together organically from social media and sponsorship opportunities. And that match between PB and Miles just came together because that's the way the tournament came together. I think you also wrestled was that Aaron Williams in that tournament as well?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. He keeps getting one on me.
Now, PB, real quick, you and I have been talking very recently about kind of like character development, how people kind of present themselves out of like just the normal. I'm with a wrestling company and they tell me to shoot a promo, like all the important things that go along with having a character and getting yourself out there and doing all these things to separate yourself, and you did all those things to separate yourself. Do you feel like there's something more you can do? Do you feel like there's something missing? Do you feel like what do you feel like you need to really, go to that next level that you want to get to?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm at a point now where I think consistency is the key to all of it,
Hmm.
because I truly like, on a personal level, I'm finally happy. Like
Correct.
I'm actually enjoying the journey of being a professional wrestler, because there was a lot
Mm.
of times where I was so caught up in wanting to be a perfectionist or wanting to know what this person wants or this, that, and the other. And I lost a sense of myself.
Right.
I lost knowing what I wanted to do and why I got into this in the first place. Because I mean, I could have made money doing anything. Like I have like
Hmm.
2 degrees. Like I take care. You know what I'm saying? Like I built my life in a situation where I can do whatever I want. But I love wrestling and I want to be here. So it's like if I'm going to do it, I have to be my full authentic self with, and that comes with it. So between that and just taking it seriously and being a professional, I feel like social media is my TV time because I don't have a TV backing. You know what I'm
That's
saying? So
dope.
when I'm on social media, I'd rather push my content rather than, get into like social justice conversations and things like that. Because
Hmm.
anyone that does their research knows what I'm about. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They know what I do. Like they know about the scholarship or the things that I do outside of the ring or whatever. But this is my time to treat this like the job that it is if I want to go far with it. So I mean, obviously algorithms suck. Like there's only so much you can do. And
Right.
then if you're trying to push content, other things are happening. Like it may or may not get overshadowed. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm being consistent and staying true to myself, that's all I can really ask for. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest of that stuff is kind of in the universe's hands.
Man, man, what you said is so important because there are so many black wrestlers that we hear all the time. It's like, okay, well, they can't cut promos. And it's like, why do you know they can't cut promos? You haven't really put them in a position to cut good promos, or,
Yep.
I don't like their character. And what you said is so important in the sense of a lot of black wrestlers don't feel like they get the chance to be themselves.
Hmm.
And so I would say like social media is one of those outlets where you can get more, than you get on TV sometimes.
And that's the thing. Like when you're worried about being yourself, but then you have so much other stuff going around, it's like hard to like focus on that.
Right.
So for me, I just made a conscious decision to just put myself on the forefront. So no matter how you come across my timeline, you're not going to see 3 posts without wrestling content.
Hmm.
You're not going to see me not have like a promo or like character content or whatever the case may be. Like I'm putting it all out there. Like even like the ether stuff, I made like 6 videos to like get over that character and explain it and things like that. So my whole thing is having the body of work that trails back in the catalog so that when people do finally discover me, they can go back and see that I've been doing this for a minute. It didn't just come out of thin air.
Super dope. Inspiring for other wrestlers too. Consistency is legit just key. Just keep going at it, keep working. When you don't want to work, work some more. When you don't want to work after that, work some more. Just keep working, man, because everybody else is also working. There's someone that is constantly outworking you. So you have to, if you don't keep it consistent, you're never going to get anything. That's the only way to win here. And so thank you for those words, PB. Those are inspiring for a bunch of young wrestlers who just, some of them are just stuck. They don't really know, like, how do I move forward this? How do I get bookings? How do I get noticed? How do I get anything? So it's good for them to know. Couple guys that need more bookings, more things. Twan Tucker, Tony Johnson, and Jack Price, triple threat match. Incredible. I like these guys. I like Twan Tucker a lot. I've seen him a lot. He's a big guy. He does some flips sometimes. He's funny. He's a great guy. Great, talented. All these guys are super dope. I featured all 3 of them. I think I featured 100% of the people we talked about actually on the Black Wrestling's 500. So I was going to say I just featured those guys, but no, I featured legit every single one of these people. And that's pretty insane to think about. I didn't think about that till just now. So shout out to that. That's crazy. That's important and that's dope. Triple threat match. Great match. How did we get here?
Yeah, and I'd be lying to you if I said that that we didn't use your list as an honest, like, you know, as an honest guide to, kind of putting together some matchups in terms of what first time matchups can we get out of some of these people that
hard.
we have, that we've used before, but we want to make sure that they haven't wrestled each other and things like that. And yeah, that list has been instrumental in some of the good troubles. So, thanks for that. I think the entire social media platform thanks you for the hard work and putting that list together, because it's not easy, man. That's a very, very difficult thing. I mean,
I've been thinking about it recently. Like, it's in August. That's how there's so many, like, every year there's more people
right.
get better.
It's,
I'm like, yo, this
for
is
sure.
insane.
It's difficult,
Just to slide in, if we're giving Reg his flowers, man. When Black Wrestlers Matter first came about, and we've heard a bunch of names on this card that were also on Black Wrestlers Matter card, a lot of those guys on those cards, I did not know of them until I saw them on Reg's list. And some of those people I saw wrestle for the first time. And that's why I'm like, man, it's just so important that we get those names out here, because some other outlets won't talk about these guys.
Sure.
And the thing is, like, what you're doing is a thankless job, because you're never going to make everybody happy.
Never.
Big facts. Not possible either way. It's like you're one guy that's putting over 500 Black wrestlers. So that in and of itself is such a big, like, accomplishment that a lot of people, like myself included, sometimes we get jaded because maybe we think, oh, well, I beat this person, I should be higher, or I know how good I am. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you're only one man. You know what I'm saying? And like, a lot of that responsibility falls on you. So, like, you deserve your flowers for even attempting to put yourself out there, because no matter what, there's always going to be a target. So, like, I respect you for that.
Thank you so much.
And the amount of people we're talking about, I mean, if you sat here right now and asked me to name my top 10 favorite of anything, I'll probably have a hard time. You know what I mean? And you're putting together a list that expands way beyond that. Plus, you're trying to combine TV wrestlers with independent wrestlers. That's kind of a different ball game to an extent. So yeah, definitely shout out to you for that. We've used that as inspiration in the past. Phil brought up the Black Wrestlers Matter. We've had constant contact with them through DMs and Twitter. So there's been, a working relationship with them
You
on
guys have had a couple of those types of relationships where you've done like joint shows and things, which are also super dope. That I like that.
Yeah, we did a joint show with Paradigm Pro Wrestling, who
Yeah.
is another company who does a lot of minority inclusion.
Hmm.
They had a show booked, I think last weekend, that they had to cancel due to the weather, that
Oh
was
yeah.
put together as an all black wrestling show, but they never
Hmm.
advertised it that way. It just kind of
Yeah.
came together, and the way they normally book, if you look at it, I didn't even notice it until Jay Rose said it, and he said, "Hey, we quietly put together a all black wrestling show, but never told anyone. But you guys just didn't notice because that's how they traditionally
That's
book."
how they
So
do all the time. So I was like, whoa,
sure, and
that's
that
crazy. Hmm.
so that was good. That was good for them. Yeah, we've worked with Unsanctioned Pro, who's the other Columbus promotion here that I work with as well,
Yep.
and doing joint shows with them. And we have another one coming up in the future in April as well. So it's good to kind of keep that promotion friendliness, because
Hmm.
you know y- ultimately it's about giving guys like PB Smooth opportunities to showcase what they can do. Arguing about who's wrestling for who and what city and stuff.
Hmm.
It's not about you. You know what I mean?
Nah.
It's about the talent and what they can do and bringing eyes to them. And that's specifically the reason I wanted to bring PB with me today on here, was just to get, whatever exposure it brings to him, that for things that he can say, people that can discover him, what he's about. He and I are friends, but also, we work together and stuff like that. So I want to see him exceed way more than I want anything for myself. So that was kind of important for me to bring him, to say, hey, take a look at this guy and some of the things that he has going on and things that he does. But um, getting back to the original question, yeah, the jump off series is a triple threat that we do with a podcast company out of Cleveland called Marks with Mikes.
Hmm.
They always come through with sponsoring this triple threat. It's a series of triple threats, and then we take the four winners into a four corners match, and the winner of that gets a title opportunity. So that's something that we've done in the past before. Damian Chambers was kind of the winner of that. He wrestled Trey at our show back in November. This time we got Big Twan coming in. Big Twan's a guy that I wanted down here for a really long time because I've seen his work in Cleveland.
Hmm.
He cut one of the funniest promos I've ever seen in my life on Ethan Page. I don't know if you remember that one, PB, but oh man, that thing was so funny. And he's got really good promo stuff, man. And I feel like his work, probably since the pandemic, has probably been a little inconsistent. I haven't seen him doing a lot of stuff, and I know he kind of
Hmm.
stepped back from wrestling for a little bit. So I'll be interested to see, what we get out of Twan here. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think it's kind of unrealized so far in his young career with some of the opportunities he's had. I think he's one of those guys that kind of needs to get out of his neck of the woods to kind of get
Agreed.
that exposure a little bit more. Jack Price is another guy. He's kind of very similar to Broner in a sense, that I think once he gets out of his neighborhood as well, that he'll get a little bit more experience, a little more exposure. Sometimes that's what it takes, man. People just got to travel. You got to get out of
Yep.
your neighborhood, and kind of find out what you got. And Iceman Tony Johnson is a guy that I'm a huge fan of. I try to make sure that he is on every card that we do. We put him in a huge opportunity with Alex Kane last time he was up here. We just recently put that match out on YouTube for free for people to check out. Him and Alex Kane, huge match. And PB is actually the one that put this guy on my radar, because he said, "Hey, there's this guy out of Pittsburgh that is Lee Moriarty without the opportunities."
Hmm.
And he pushed all his information to me, and I made sure that he was on, that he got on the first. I think he was on. I think we used him twice. I know he wrestled. I
Was it
know he
Ryan?
wrestled. What's that?
Was it Ryan Rembrandt?
I'll have to double check. I know we used him twice. But yeah, the last time was against Alex Kane, which was a really good match. So I look forward to seeing Tony come out here and work and kind of see what else. Yeah, you're right. It was Ryan Rembrandt, Good Trouble Volume 2. Yep. And yeah, I want to see if what PB said is true about Tony. If he's the next Lee Moriarty with more opportunities, then let's give him those opportunities and see if that's what's cooking. And if he can get out of this triple threat and potential title opportunity down the line, then maybe we find out what if Tony Johnson's for real.
Tony Johnson is for real. He's one of those guys that you literally just got to push out the nest.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Lee actually both came from Rise, where I'm actually the champion at right now, or whatever. And I wrestled both. That was my first time wrestling Lee and Tony was at Rise. And my match with Tony was great. I'm sure I can find it somewhere and send it to you. But Tony's a guy that he's just like a little shy, you know what I mean? But in the ring, he knows what he can do. He's like really talented. His upside is phenomenal. And I think under the right circumstances and the right push, he can show that he's like a top guy. Like I really believe that.
He's also tremendously nice, like Lee. Just both just super
Yeah.
nice guys.
Right. Yeah. So, Good Trouble, Volume 3. Great, incredible card. A lot of great wrestlers. This weekend, though, is very busy. It's a busy weekend. The show's on the 19th, right? February
The
19th.
20th Sunday.
Oh,
We're
20th.
actually on Sunday. Yep.
Perfect. That's great because the 19th, there's like 5 million shows. That's awesome. February 20th is a great card that we just went over. Put a bow on this. Why should people watch this match? What should they watch and what should they expect in the future from y'all?
Yeah, I think you're gonna see on the 20th or whenever we actually make it. It won't be live on
Right.
IWTV because of reasons, but um, it will be out in the future. We will have it on IWTV in the future, and
Sweet.
probably one or two of the matches we'll put on YouTube. We've been trying to get a little more involved in YouTube, just to kind of bring matches to people that either aren't IWTV subscribers or just kind of highlighting matches that are we think people should see. I think we got PB and Shug D out there for people to watch on the YouTube channel as well. So just kind of pay attention to the first time matchups that you're going to see on this card and kind of come to think of that in the future from us, whether it be Good Trouble Volume 4 or some of the other things that we have cooked up in April and beyond. I think April, probably June timeframe, we'll be running again, and then I think Good Trouble Volume 4 will probably be later on this fall, but definitely in the calendar year of 2022. So, just kind of pay attention to those first time matchups and kind of think about it in the back of your mind, that when you think of OWA and you think of some of the people that we frequently wrestle or that we frequently use to wrestle, that when you see them wrestle for OWA, they're probably going to be wrestling someone that you've never seen them wrestle before. We try to do that it's difficult with so many promotions, so many people traveling and things like that. But we try to give as many first time matchups as possible. And you do that by, casting a wide net. Obviously, we've got people coming from Minnesota, Atlanta, because the wrestling scene in Columbus, Ohio is not necessarily, like it is everywhere else, but the promotion can thrive by bringing those people in and giving them opportunities and matchups that they've never had before.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, just the same thing I said earlier, the styles clash. Like you really don't get that many places. You just get like a lot of places that again want to do the super card thing or just pick the two most over guys they find on Twitter and put them in like the 15th match of their saga or whatever. So that's really what I'm excited for and I look forward to when I go to LWA. So hopefully everyone else will enjoy it the same way.
That's what's up. Appreciate y'all for coming on, talking about the show. Good luck this weekend, man. Great card, great talent, great everything. thank you for everything y'all are doing. Y'all are putting on some great cards, showcasing a lot of incredible talented people. Black Wrestling's 500. Shout out to me. I like to say, shout out to me before we leave. Let's talk a
Shout
little
out
bit
to me
more
is
about
hilarious.
me. No, I'm trolling y'all. Appreciate y'all though. I'm gonna check out this card as soon as it hits the net. I'm excited about everything y'all are doing, and I'm super excited about the future. So thanks to Will, thanks to Pretty Boy Smooth, thanks to Phil, thanks to Righteous Reg. We appreciate all of y'all. Big pieces.
Yeah, man.
Sir.